guys, what's up? It's me, Katherine, and today we're going to talk about 5 musical theater composers that every actor should know. I get asked pretty often on how I became like an encyclopedia of Broadway knowledge, and it's called A, having the internet, and B, being a loser in middle school. Anyway, question of the day. Who's your favorite musical theater composer? Leave them in the comments down below. Totally okay if it's someone that I mention in this video or someone that I don't mention. I love learning. I love listening to good music, so definitely leave your favorite composers in the comments down below. Before we talk about composers, if you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. My name's Katherine Steele, and my shirt is riding up. Let me just put that down so I can bare my shoulders because it's not the 1700s? Like I was saying, hi, I'm Katherine. I put out a new theater-related video on every Theater Thursday, plus I do bonus uploads throughout the week, so if you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and click subscribe. That way you get notified for all future videos, and you get to join the Theater Thursday fam. First, we take over Broadway, and then the world! If you want to follow me, I am at Kath_Steele on Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. My transformation into Zoe Deschanel is nearly complete. Let's get into the video. Some of these composers you might know about, some of them you might not. It's just, 5 of my favorites, 5 that I think anyone who loves Broadway should know about, anyone who wants a career in the arts should know about. So just like a nice little overview and a nice little jumping off point if you want to do more research to learn about Broadway. First up, let's talk about a personal fave and a cult fave, Mr. Stephen Sondheim. Sondheim is a very famous, very popular composer. You guys might know his works like Into the Woods, Sweeney Todd, A Little Night Music, Pacific Overtures, Passion, Merrily We Roll Along, Company. Some ways to distinguish his shows, or like a little bit about him. His lyrics tend to be very, very fast and witty and patterny, and they tend to have a lot of puns, a lot of deep analysis. They're known as some of the deepest, most intricate lyrics in all of Broadway history. Sondheim is also very famous for having a lot of really intricate timing for his music. And similarly, it's really hard for pianists to play, so most of the time you don't want to take Sondheim into an audition unless it's an audition for another Sondheim show. I wrote like a big paper on Sondheim, so honestly I could do like an entire video on Sondheim, but I'll just touch on some of the important things. He just had a lot of family issues, and it's very, very evident and a reoccurring theme in a lot of his shows. You're not going to see like family comedies. You're usually going to see people like cheating on each other or dying. Fun stuff. If you're newer to Sondheim, I'd recommend checking out Into the Woods or Sweeney Todd. Those are 2 of his really popular shows. There are also movie versions of both of those shows, and there's also filmed productions of both of those shows, as in there was like a production of it and they filmed it and it's legal and massively distributed, so definitely check it out. Next up, one of my favorite composers, Jason Robert Brown. Jason Robert Brown is again known for having very difficult piano parts. He's considered one of the greatest modern composers. He's still composing lots and lots and lots of new shows, which is very exciting for the JRB fans. You might be familiar with his work like The Last 5 Years, 13, Songs for a New World, Bridges of Madison County, Parade, Honeymoon in Vegas. He's another composer who puts a lot of himself into his work. He had to change certain details. Kathy's name used to be Kathleen, and she was an Irish lass, and it was a whole thing. If you're new to Jason Robert Brown and you don't know his music, start off with The Last 5 Years. Again, there's a movie version with Jeremy Jordan and Anna Kendrick. It's on Netflix. Obviously it's ideal to find a production of one of his shows, but they don't get produced all the time because they're usually really complicated to sing. But if you're just looking for an introduction to him, movies are a great place to start. Side note, are you guys enjoying this video? Seriously, because like I'm really enjoying just like ranting and talking about like the history of Broadway. Leave me a comment down below, like the video if you guys want more of these kind of edutainment, as I call it. Composer number 3, Daily Double! That's right, I'm gonna talk about everyone's favorite team, Rodgers and Hammerstein. Hammerstein. Even if you don't really know musical theater, I'm sure that you know of a Rodgers and Hammerstein show. They're kind of the landmark of what's called the Golden Age, which was this time in like the 40s and 50s where Broadway was getting produced a ton, and there was a ton of money available for Broadway productions. Everyone would go to the theater, and they really kind of ushered in this era, and they were kind of the kings of it. So some of the shows that they've written include Oklahoma, Carousel, South Pacific, The King and I, Sound of Music, Cinderella, Flower Drum Song. So I know that a lot of theater kids, you know, when they especially first start out, they're not the biggest fans of Rodgers and Hammerstein. Okay, here's where you're wrong, okay? I will forever fight for Rodgers and Hammerstein. It's not that you don't like Rodgers and Hammerstein, it's just that you saw a bad production of a Rodgers and Hammerstein show. What Rodgers and Hammerstein did for Broadway was revolutionary. They're the people who came up with ballets and dance meaning something in a show. They really ushered in the integrated musical in which dance and acting and singing all progress the story along. Prior to them, people would just start singing for the sake of singing. Okay, mini rant over, it's all good. But if you're like a little wary of Rodgers and Hammerstein, I really urge you to check out Carousel, check out South Pacific. South Pacific is like a lot deeper than you think, but that's a pretty good intro to it. There are also movie musical versions of pretty much every one of their shows, so that's always really fun to check out too. They're probably at your local library if you don't have them. Composer number 4, Andrew Lloyd Webber. You guys might know his works like The Phantom of the Opera, Evita, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, School of Rock, Sunset Boulevard, Cats. So what do you think? Am I ready for Broadway? People tend to be very divided on Andrew Lloyd Webber. They either really, really love him or they are really, really not a fan of him. He and Sondheim were kind of coming up at the same time, so a lot of people feel like Sondheim got forgotten in Andrew Lloyd Webber's shadow. Personally, I really, really love both of them. So honestly, I'm on both sides. I love both of them a lot. There's a Phantom movie with Emmy Rossum and Patrick Wilson. It's really funny now. If you guys watch Shameless on Showtime, seeing Emmy Rossum as like Fiona, and I grew up with her as like my Christine. There is a recording of the 25th anniversary Royal Albert Hall production of Phantom of the Opera, and the 5th composer that I'm going to talk about today is Alan Menken. What? A film guy? Here's why I'm gonna talk about him. So Alan Menken has done a lot of stage shows, but you probably best know his work from Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, Tangled, Newsies, Beauty and the Beast, literally your childhood. But the reason that I think it's really important to talk about Alan Menken's work is the amount of Disney that gets produced nowadays. We've got another big era of Disney movie musicals coming in, and with that, more productions of Disney live shows are getting staged. Frozen is doing an out-of-town tryout, and while that's not Alan Menken, it's still within the Disney family. You've got an Aladdin live-action remake coming up, as well as Little Mermaid. They're currently working out Tangled as a stage show. I know that it's already playing on cruises on different Disney ships. Basically, not only is it getting produced a ton at like the top-tier Broadway National Tour West End levels, it's also incredibly popular when it comes to like regional, local professional, even community and educational theater. If you're not familiar with Alan Menken's work, I would definitely recommend watching some Disney movies. Where's Your Childhood? They also recently filmed a production of Newsies. They brought back the original cast, shot it in LA. Remember to leave your favorite composers in the comments down below, or if you don't have a favorite composer, which of these 5 guys are you going to check out first? Again, if you guys like this video or if you like this style of video, let me know by leaving a comment down below and a big thumbs up. If you haven't already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe. Like I said, I put out a new theater-related video on every Theater Thursday. I promise most of them are not this ridiculously chatty, but it's kind of nice to have a slightly different change of pace and just yell at my camera about Rodgers and Hammerstein for, 45 minutes. I hope you guys are having a great day. I love you so much. Break a leg, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Everyone says it differently, so I'm just gonna say Hammerstein.